Hey, greetings everybody. What's up? It's GleeCon, and I am here again bringing you another episode of World of Warcraft. We'll do the spiel as we jump in, so stay a while and listen as we go again. What is this show? Where are we? This is classic era that you're looking up. We are in Teldrassil. Why are we in Teldrassil? Let us count the ways. The main reason we're here is because we're turning in this quest called The Calm Before the Storm. It's essentially the last quest that we had to do while we were in Tanaris. We are still in the middle of the grind for... They probably bought all these before. Yeah. Do they know? Okay, so in finishing the last quest line, which we did almost a week ago at this point, because I have been out of town on business, we have been like hunting or tracking down the Silithid efforts. It's a theme, and it becomes more and more ever present as you get deeper and deeper into the Classic Era experience, because the culmination of Classic Era before Nax is the Encourage war effort. So it's really building up towards that. Why does it matter? Who are these bugs? And more zones tap into that storyline. And this is really in Tanaris one of the first big ones that focus on it, especially all of the and later game zones in Kalimdor. Eastern Kingdoms doesn't really do it as much, but there are tons of quests. When we get to the Hinterlands, there's a whole quest. When we get to Feralis, there's a bunch, especially in southern Kalimdor. That's what it's all about. I went the wrong way on this. So anyway, the point of this was that we got someone to help us. We beat the Gorishi Queen, and when it was all said and done, where on earth? I just literally walked the furthest possible way I could have walked in that circle. When it was all said and done, we got a report. Pestilzug's Ungoro report, because really we were fighting the bugs in Ungoro for Tanaris, even though we also did it in Tanaris, and we're going to bring it to Darnassus because really we're reporting to the Druids. If you watch one of our later episodes or way previous episodes, we covered the short stories leading up to the opening of the gates of Encourage, like the first time before they sealed Encourage or whatever, and it's all Druid centered. They are fools, Greek and Tessa. This is Gracina's spirit might. They cannot even think to look around them for a greater threat. Their irrational hatred of the Horde will be the end of us all. I do not know how much more proof I can give them of the Silithid threat, short of dropping them in one of the hives so they can see for themselves. I'm sorry. You bring news for my attention.
While I genuinely appreciate this, I'm not sure what good it will do us. The Alliance ignores threats from any source other than the Horde, and even our own leaders here in Darnassus cannot agree on what exactly this threat is. Fools like Fandral Staghelm theorize that the Silithid are nothing like the threat from the ancient past I claim them to be. His ignorance is only surpassed by his arrogance. You have seen the threat yourself, adventurer. We must remain committed to defeating the Silithid. Adventurer, your help has been immeasurable. The time will come, no doubt, when I'll ask for your assistance against the Silithid once more. We must absorb what we have learned in Ungoro. I fear that my assumptions that the Silithid originated from Ungoro are now wrong. That indeed there is a far stronger presence somewhere. Take this note to Idriana at the bank. She'll give you something from my vault that should be viewed as a token of my gratitude. Thank you for your assistance, brave adventurer.
Okay, so just looking at this overall, I don't think any of these are great. These are tanky boots. They're pretty good for that. If you look at these plate greaves. So we'll talk about what she just said in a second. But this is, we'll rock the spreadsheet also because we have a flight to do. So I guess I'll accept it and then look as we go. So when we're looking at the boots here, I would gain 50 points in armor, 54 points. So that's basically a 5-point upgrade. Since and that's kind of across the board. Really, I could demote that if I wanted. I'm doing it again where I'm walking the wrong way. I would lose, and I would gain 11 points of stamina, but I only value stamina at half rate because of my, I'm not a tanky person, so that's going to give me another 5.5, so we're not even quite at 11 total points, or whatever. So, this does not give me any stamina, so this gives me 19 points of stats. If I added up all of the bonus to armor, the bonus to dodge, which I also only value at half rank, and the bonus to stamina, we're looking at around 15, 16 points, but I would lose 19 points in offensive stats, so it's a loss for me. I don't care about the offhand, and the shoulders are actually kind of nice, 12 strength, 12 stam, but they are leather, so if I look at what I have here, I would gain 4 points to strength and lose 2 to agility, so that's still a 2-point gain, and I would gain 5 points of stam, so it's like a 4.5 point gain, but I would be losing 60-something points of armor, so I would lose more defensive stats than I would gain, so to me it's not overall. If I had to not care about armor at all, we could do that. I also got lucky. I had a drop. I'll talk about all this on the flight, but look at what we got here. Old mithril spurs. So we'll mess with that in just a second. Let's go ahead and turn this quest in to the bank. No, to the side, buddy.
Welcome to the Bank of
All
Darkness.
right.
We offer financial accounts and safety deposit boxes for valuable items.
Elunadore, Paladin.
Account with us, ma'am?
What may I do for you today?
This bank voucher authorizes me to withdraw an item from Gracina Spirit Might's account with us and present it to you. Congratulations would seem to be in.
Alright, so now we're going to go get on the flight path back to the place where we are going to live today, which is Feralis getting eggs. So, I hope that we finish this today. If we do not finish it by tomorrow, then I'm going to start pursuing it in my life off camera. And we'll do whatever, a check-in episode to wrap this zone up, because there's really only one thing left that we need here, and that is the extraordinary egg for the repeatable egg quest. So we're going to fly down to Feathermoon. Now let's talk. Alright, so what is this show? If you've sticking this long, cool, good on you. This is a show where I try to cover everything in the world of Warcraft universe, both in-game and out-of-game, every type of media possible, in an attempt to do it chronologically, although that has zigzagged around a little bit, as I've decided to change what I included, as I've had to reboot the classic experience a little more than a year ago. And for the past year, we've been on this plan, and we've made good progress. In that year, we've taken classic era characters, 2 of them, up to around level 52. And we are almost just shy of about 3/4 of the way through the game. Things have gone down a little bit lately, and they will spike up. That will ebb and flow, where I can make more or less episodes. Of course, endgame is going to slow the game down some. It's going to slow our progress down just because of difficulty of questing, and there's a lot more grindiness. It seems that there are more and more zones that are going to open up this element of grinding to it. Right now, as you can see, we've really been trapped in Feralis because of the last quest in the Tanaris zone. Tanaris is the zone we've been working on. Off camera, I've been making pretty solid progress in Feralis. I did get slowed down this week because, again, like I mentioned, I was on a work trip, so that ate up most of my week. I did make a short episode on Thursday, and then now you're going to get a couple out of me today. So this is a slightly truncated thing. I did not add an episode to the Patreon this week. It's another side project we do. If you're interested in this type of completely insane completionist, regardless of the pain that it puts on you, if you're interested in that sort of approach to content, I do the same thing for Assassin's Creed. The pain's a little bit different. The collectibles are not as painful in the same sense. it is painful in what we have to play. So I dig up the old archived mobile push button phone Android games that came out and stuff like that. Most of it's having forced, they don't even exist anymore, so it's forced through emulation, and it is painful. We're trapped in this zone as we do our classic era walkthrough. We're trying to finish Tanaris on our Alliance character. We're gonna have to do this again on Horde. It is definitely making me drag my feet because we're pretty much done. If you look at what's still available in Tanaris, it's Yucca Screw Spigot, which is Spigot, which is I think Sunken Temple quest. So we're not picking that one up. We have Scarab Shells. We have Divinomatic Rod. And we have Troll Temper. And all of those are Zul'Farrak. We already have Necrum's Medallion and the Prophecy of Mosha Ru in Necrum's Medallion. We have all of the... for Zul'Farrak. We have all of Zul'Farrak pretty much ready to go. Tomorrow, we will... If we're still looking for the eggs, we'll break and... We'll continue setting up for Zul'Farrak, but we won't run Zul'Farrak quite yet. We will wait until we complete all of this process with the Horde, and then we'll do back-to-back Zul'Farrak episodes. That'll be a 4-episode stretch, most likely. Depends, just because there is a element of post-Zul'Farrak which requires you to go back to the hinterlands, and while you're in the hinterlands, if I could find the hinterlands again, doing some... things at the top of Jinta Allure. The Horde has to go up there to do something I can't quite remember, but they also have to fight, summon and fight Shadra, a spider, whereas the Alliance will have to go save Sharpbeak at the top of Jinta Allure. Either way, you will need a crowd. Both of us will also need to get the egg for Sunken Temple, that quest taken care of while we're there. So there really is like a moderate need for questing, and depending on how long it takes us to run Zul'Farrak. Zul'Farrak's a pretty easy dungeon, so if we manage to finish the dungeon in, say, 45 minutes or so, which is possible, then we can kind of ascertain if we want to make a run up to Hinterlands, because you might also get that within the party to go save Sharpbeak or whatever you need to do. So that is looking forward. We might also get lucky with the Horde. This whole experience of running the eggs is a little bit easier, a little bit less painful as Horde. So what am I talking about? If you haven't been paying attention or you forgot or whatever, I doubt it, because we've been almost for a month now doing this. The past few episodes, we've ramped it up. I think the last episode we did 4 or 5 runs. Every run takes approximately 15 minutes. So we'll get at least 5 runs done today. That's the goal of this show, is to get this done. So when you go into Feralis, there are eggs that spawn in nests down here. They're just world spawn items. They're very common. There's tons of nests. They're never farmed. No one's ever doing this. I've literally never seen anybody in the 20 times or so that we've ran. Actually, it's been more, because I think on this show we've done it. I lost count. I know we've done, this is our 12th. Let me check the actual episode log. This is our 12th episode of Tanaris, which already puts it up there. Maybe Stranglethorn Vale was close to that long. Maybe the Barrens. But we're already getting really close to this being the longest level, if it's not already there, that we've done. Because of it. And so we have done a minimum of 1 run every single episode. So this will be our 12th run minimum. There was a couple episodes where I squeezed in a second run as I started to get more desperate. And then I think I had an episode where I did maybe 3. So that's already 4 over. So this will be 16 runs. And then the last episode, I think we did at least 4 runs, 4 to 5 runs. So this is somewhere around our 20th run. I never had it take me more than 7 runs in total before. I did expected value napkin math, assuming a 25% probability, and the 25% probability is it should take you approximately 8 runs. So we're definitely paying, if that's the case, for my good luck. We're now paying for it on camera. So we'll make an episode out of it today where we pretty much focus on it, and I will at least turn in the rescue quest to Booty Bay. We'll slot that in towards the end of the episode, regardless of whether or not we've had success. And then that means if we have success, we can be done with this episode completely. If we don't have success, it means that tomorrow we will do another egg run episode where I sprinkle in the Zul'Farrak quests just to pick them up, just for something to talk about. We have a lot. This content is going to be monotonous, grindy, tedious, mind-numbing, painful. For me, it is creating a. It's a sucker of joy. It takes it, and not in a good way. Sometimes phrasing. It drains the joy out of the game for me, and I've had a lot of experiences with that. My other playing this week was getting the final egg to drop in Feralis. I did not have it drop organically for any of my characters, Horde or Alliance, that I've been running the zone with. So I did have to spend, it took around 200 kills of the ogres up here on my Alliance character, and it took, I don't know, because I really was not counting thoroughly, but it took probably 150 or so over a couple days to get it to drop for my Horde character, not to mention all of the mobs that they had already organically killed questing through the zone. So that was my week. That's all I've really done this week, was getting that. I did do the get the egg on both, did the escort chain, turn that in, and I'm working on that. So if you look at where I'm at in terms of the dry run, we can talk about that a little bit more because we have a lot of flight time ahead of us today. Or maybe we don't. Maybe this is going to be the one time we have to run it. So Feathermoon Stronghold is my preferred destination point when I run this as Alliance. It's just a slightly easier run to the eggs. Although when you're coming from Tanaris, it's not better. The extra time needed, the hippogriffs fly particularly slow along the road from this flight path to the other. So while it originally seems like it might break even because of the better walking path that you experience going from here to here, and it is a lot better, you lose so much time. You almost double your time having to fly from here to here. So let's say we got the egg and came back here. It's a little faster than coming back here. It's not much, maybe a minute or two. But then you add so many minutes on just to make it from this flight point to this flight point. And then from there, it's overlapping. You're flying the rest of the way through the Thousand Needles and down here to Gadgetzton. You could save if you're a little less kind of weird and locked into slavish habits as I am. You can save a little bit of time if you set your Hearthstone to Gadgetzton. That means every hour you can cut off 12 or so minutes of travel time. So that's nice. That means if 4 runs, one way, if not 12 minutes of travel time, 7 or 8 minutes, because it's around 15 minutes round trip. So you save around 15 minutes round trip. So every hour you'd save 8 or 9 minutes. The cost of that would be losing my instant access to the Eastern Kingdoms because I have it set to Stormwind, and I'm cool. I'm fine. And also, you just never know. If you're planning on doing repeated egg runs, then sure, that's something worth considering. But we are in a situation where at any particular point in time, we could be done. We could get lucky on the run we're on right now. You just don't know. So another thing I just mentioned was are looking to maximize blacksmithing on this character. We're at 250 blacksmithing, and we're sort of bottlenecked because to get above 250, it starts to become very expensive. You can make the big black mace, which is a nice +8 strength one-handed mace. It shares the model with the, oh, what is that? It has a weird name. If it drops off mobs in the world, it's, I wish I could remember what it was called. So if you swim over, you can just go straight forward up this ramp. Takes you right to the top. Then you just basically hug the wall, and there's very few mobs. It's pretty nice and smooth. That's why I like this one. It's something with the word kin in it. Gherkin? I don't know. Tommykin? I can't remember. But that requires thick leather. The grinding stones, whatever. We have 60. We obviously have a surplus. Black pearl is the real issue. That's harder to get. 4 shadow gem, not that bad, not that expensive, but it's just a lot of mats. You can make a dazzling rapier instead. It takes mage weave, lesser moonstone, but again, 14, 16. So this does beat the. This is a +8 agility one-handed sword, 28.5. This one is a 27.5. So just across the board, the rapier is a better. It's a better thing. So if I had to pick between that, I'd go with this one. A couple less mithril. Moss agate's a little more expensive, so the gems are a little bit more expensive, but they're still not prohibitive, and you probably have a couple. Lesser moonstones drop when you're getting the mithril, sometimes. Okay, but still, none of those are great. You can make mithril coifs, but they're yellow. So now, even though it's only mage weave and 10 bars, your percentage of leveling up is something maybe as low as 50%. So you really have to think of it as doubling the mats. And now with 20 mithril bars, it starts to become, I don't think so. So then you really look at the plate. That's where we make our bread and butter. What plate can we make? Well, we can make ornate mithril boots. They require aquamarine, thick leather, true silver, everything that we already have. Thick leather is easy to buy, except for the 14 mithril bars, so that's Nori. The helms, they require black pearls and 16, so they're worse. True silver breastplates are actually really cool tank breastplates. 12 stam, 519 armor breastplates that also give you a chance to proc heals, like a little mini potion on yourself. We're getting iron every time we see it. For those of you that don't remember, it's because we're setting up for Searing Gorge. When we do the Searing Gorge, we will be we'll be needing to grind out rep with the dark irons to maximize that zones. Remember, like I said, there's a grinding element in almost every single zone that we're in from now on. And that one is just money, though. If we can have the money needed... I don't remember if I leveled up my paladin skills at 52. Dang it. Yeah, I was reading somewhere that the actual, last time we did a lot of calculation work on what would be better using Sanctity Aura versus whatever, and I didn't really come up with a lot. But anyway, yeah, it procs this little mini potion, which is pretty cool. I like that. If you're a tank. But it requires 24 true silver. So that in itself is insane. 12 mithril bars is whatever. But the 24 true silver makes this not realistic at all. Even with the amount of true silver that we've grinded out, we don't even we barely have enough for half of one. 4 black pearls, 4 star rubies. This is like you make it one time or you make it on demand kind of thing. That's it. The ornate mithril breastplate, this is, again, 16, a heart of fire, 6 true silver. It's just not reasonable. Heavy mithril boots then becomes our best bet. So if you look at the ornate are requiring, there's an egg right there. They're requiring true silver and aquamarines. The heavy are basically the same thing, just without those. 14 mithril, 4 thick leather. So that's really where we were at. We're getting our egg right now. And unless we could find the recipe for mithril spurs. Mithril spurs is a random world drop. It's very, very useful. People really want, first of all, lots of people want it on there because it's an add-on you can make to boots that allows you to travel faster on mounts. So it's really great. But most importantly, it is far easier to make it. So my goal was, hey, next time we go to a capital, we're going to look at an auction house. I did not have to, because when I was questing, grinding out for the egg drop here in Feralis, killing the... I don't even remember what I killed. I might have just been doing Feralis quests. I truly can't remember what I killed, where it came from, but just in normal questing, I just had it randomly drop on my Horde character. So that meant this is one of those times when having a wife that plays, even though we only play maybe once a week together, so she's really not maximizing the amount of her account. It makes it all worthwhile because I will use and abuse that secondary account. I don't know where this small... Oh, it's in there with the ogres. I think we might have... No, we don't have anything thorium yet. I don't want to go in there yet. Anyway. So I was able to take that character and take her, my druid, the one that I do the dry runs on, bring her to Booty Bay, and then bring my wife's alliance character. I have one of her alt characters just stationed for this purpose in Booty Bay, and I just sell her the boots or sell her the whatever I want on that auction house, and then she immediately flips it and mails it, or her alliance. I have whatever. I have her an alliance and a horde, so I can do this either way. So it's very nice. It does mean that when I send it back, it will take an hour. So it takes... I have to get this... Whoever it drops for, I have to get them to Booty Bay and back. And then you have an hour of wait time, but that is well worth it to essentially transfer. And actually, you make money on the deal. I sold the plans for like 50 copper, but the auction house, because of the level of the item, paid me a cut of 6 silver. So even though... So that's WoW generating free gold. I never even really paid attention to that before. But I posted it for 50 copper. And my other character did a buyout of 50 copper. But my cut from the auction house was like 6 silver. So, interesting way. If you're willing to wait an hour for 5 or 6 silver every time, you could hypothetically just keep mailing a bunch of stuff back and forth. I guess it depends on the item, the level of the item too. So anyway, let's learn this because I didn't even have to buy it. I just got lucky. As soon as we wanted it, we got mithril spurs in the world. So now I don't... Now I don't have to worry about grinding that out or paying for it in the auction house because I'm kind of broke. Sorry, I'm really congested today. Or just not... I'm not even feeling super congested. It's just the throat. That throat work, guys. We did start experiencing a little more success navigating this. I was, for the longest time, our first series of runs coming through the south, you fall off, you swim through, but I've found that it's a little bit faster if you circumvent Camp Mojache to the north, then you just have to jump this little river. Sometimes you can even jump it without dismounting. Most of the time I fail on that, but I have had success a few times if you look for a narrow part of the river. Let's see what a mithril spur does for us. So, that's so helpful because look at this. All it requires is 3 grinding stones and 4 mithril bars. That is gold. Literally for our life, that's going to be straight gold. So, yeah, we nailed it that time. So now we will be able, and you just attach things. Plus people want those. They will ask who can make mithril spurs. So That's great. And I already have 10 mithril ore, 20 mithril. So we have enough for 5 points. So when we go to Booty Bay, we're now in a great shape for ourselves to just at least get to 55, which I think will allow us to open up dense stone manufacture, and we'll get that because we already have some stacks from the thorium. So essentially, we're in a good spot to jump up at least, I don't know, 10 points to get to around 260, which is good because I think 265 is when you open up the last chapter if we look at our spreadsheet, which I didn't even do. Okay, so let's go to the spreadsheet and just look at that. So spreadsheet, we had Calm Before the Storm 1 and 2. What we picked up. I'm trying to get to this other flight path too. Our quest walkthrough here. Okay. Before I do that, I might as well get on the other flight path. So also, if you're newer to the show, I keep a massive spreadsheet. I put the link to it in the comment. Sorry, guys. Puberty. It's new to me. That's probably the worst voice crack that I think I've had on the show.
Where would you like to fly to?
In years. So, I'm getting hair in some weird places. All right. If we look at the spreadsheet here, so first of all, we finished these quests. Calm Before the Storm is done. We are done with everything other than the Extraordinary Egg and getting the rescue of that turned in. And that will be our second chicken egg. Once you turn in all 3, you get your own mechanical chicken, which is pretty fun. I am about to do that on the master spreadsheet. Right here, I have Rescue OOX. That's coming. They both finished that. So the next thing you'll see on this sheet, it'll populate later today, is me getting my chicken. It's called like an OOX of your very own or something like that. I don't know. All right, but the other reason I want to look is because of profession quests. If you look, you need 265 to open up the final Imperial tier, which really gets us into some cool things. You need 265. Probably by the time you get that through all of that stuff, you'll be at 275, which are the really 2 hardcore recipes you need, but you need to be level 60 to even get those. But we are ready. This is going to be pretty cool. All right, so we're hoping against hope here at this point that we please get an extraordinary egg. If not, we're going to turn it around and go again immediately. If we get stuck with the talking and more time, what we're going to do is I'm going to mix things up as we continue to repeat this over and over and over again, or not. I really, really hope, little fingies crossed, that this is it. This is our last time. But if we do end up having extended talking periods, what we will do at that point is we'll start looking at the level 50 class quests, the Sunken Temple quest lines. We still have some of those to cover for character types that we won't run in person on this show. We'll just talk through them. And I'll talk about my experiences running them because most of them I have run on my own. And we will also take small forays into the subreddit for classic WoW, for classic hardcore WoW, maybe a little WoW lore. There are a lot of subreddits for World of Warcraft, and especially the classic, which is what we're on right now. And they are oftentimes it's just poop posting or people whining. It's not the best. Honestly, I'm part of a lot of... I frequently lurk in Reddit and a lot of the... Alright, okay, pause everything. Extraordinary egg. It was a bad egg. Those are the worst. They're worth like nothing.
I have a proposition for an adventure seeker such as you. You are up to the challenge.
Alright, my plan is to run this 4 times straight. Then after that, we will go to Booty Bay. So that's 1. So what on our time, that took us a little longer because of where we started. So we're at about half an hour. I think we can probably do 4 runs in an hour.
I am afraid I have bad news for you, adventurer.
Yeah, I know.
This is too far gone.
I know.
I can take it from you so that it may be disposed of properly. Please
Jeez.
don't be discouraged. We cannot save them all. If you find yourself in Feralis again, please try again. Bring another egg for the super eggomatic.
So you get the 10 rep. We're humans, so we get 11. And I don't even remember what it was. 6 silver, 9 silver, something like that. You get basically nothing. When you turn in the ordinary eggs, which we've done a few times, you will get a couple pumpkins and a couple moonberry juice. So not the best, nothing amazing, but moonberry juice is useful to have since we're not a mage. It just saves us from having to try to find that kind of crap on our own. If you get a fine egg, which we've gotten a few of those as well, you get usually around 5 to 6 scrolls of the level 3 variety. Or maybe we'll say, you usually get like 2 or 3 different kinds, and you get a couple of each. 1 to 2 of each one. So they're random what they are scrolls of. As you can see, we have 1 spirit and 1 intellect left because I was using them when we were trying to do the last quest to get the Garishi Queen or whatever it was that we needed for the Tanaris questline. Alright. So let's go and look at our class quest. We're going to start there. And after we finish each type of class quest, we will lurk in the subreddit a little bit. I won't pull that up, but I'll look at it on my phone, and we'll use it as conversation starters. We'll kind of do a direct, it came from the subreddit type of section. We've already discussed, and I have already completed, the Druid questline. Starts right here. They say 52 on some of them, but it should be all 50. So this quest sees you going to Torwa Pathfinder, who is the person at the very entrance to Ungoro. And then that person tasks you with making a poison which can trank some of the beasts of Ungoro, the strongest beasts. So you go around and you kill the blood petal lashers, and maybe you have to also find some blood petal nodes. I can't quite remember. I think you do. You make a poison, and then he gives you another quest called the Toxic Test, where you are to administer it on a giant devil sore. The best way, of course, is to use your druid power of hibernation to put the devil sore asleep. Attempt to administer the toxin. It does not work. You can haul butt and leave. And then he says, well, we'll need a better ingredient. The better ingredient is obtained from a fungal monster that must be summoned inside of the Sunken Temple by touching all of the statues in the area in a certain order. After doing that, you beat the boss. So it's something you're going to do anyway when you're fighting bosses. It's just a part of running Sunken Temple. And all of the level 50 class quests send you to Sunken Temple. So for whatever reason, and I do not really know, even having run the dungeon a few times, they are obsessed with funneling level 50 characters through the Sunken Temple. Don't know why. You usually get decent gear, a decent piece of blue gear from it, but nothing game-changing, so you can safely skip it. But they really want characters to run Sunken Temple. I don't know why. The Sunken Temple is an interesting visit into WoW lore, and it exposes you to a couple things. It exposes you to the Hakari trolls and their pact with Hakar, and how that went wrong, how Hakar was banished once more, and there are quests such as the getting the egg that we will do soon, which will allow you to summon an undead version of Hakar and fight him once more. There's a lot of troll fighting, and so it's really a subsect. It's not even the main trolls that you fight. It's trolls that don't get a ton of screen time until BFA. There's a lot of time spent on them in BFA. You also, I would say the second part of it, and this is probably more of WoW's interest here, is the fact that the troll, you get to see that there are corrupt green dragons because there's something happening called the Emerald Nightmare, and that's the bigger story. It really opens up the idea that there is an endgame dragon corruption quest line, and there's a lot going on there. What is causing that? And honestly, as someone that didn't play a lot of endgame classic very closely in my life, I don't remember if that is a further seeping of old god corruption into the Emerald Dream. I believe it is, but will need to cross that bridge when we get there, because I haven't, even though we've been doing this for years, I have not gotten to that point in the lore. I've played through those quests, but it has been years, and while I did it from a completionist perspective, I don't know how much attention to detail I was giving the quest lines as I read them. And the reason why I really underwent this project is because without attempting to meticulously do the quests in order, let's say you go back and do Burning Crusade, or even better yet, let's look at something like Legion. Legion's a great example, where the zones that open up as you push through Legion, the Eridar, when you go to those off-world planets, the Class Hall quest lines, how all of the Suramar, how they all blend into each other. There are quests that Khadgar sends you on, or maybe, yeah, I think I'm thinking of Legion. And they rolled out in a very specific order when you played through the game, when it dropped with these various patches. But if you come back after the fact, that everything's just open, and you can easily do things out of order. There's also some dissonance, really starts to hit with Cataclysm. When you're doing these quest lines in retail, and you're interacting with rulers of the Horde, you see it. You see it happen a lot in Cataclysm. So the person that was ruling the Horde in Cataclysm, maybe it was Orgrim Doomhammer. I can't remember. No, I don't remember. But he's like a jerky kind of work. I don't remember off the top of my head which one. There's a lot of them over the years. You're interacting with him as though he's the leader of the Horde. Or the same thing happens with like Mists of Pandaria. You're interacting with a young Anduin Wrynn, and then you'll like go back and old Anduin Wrynn is the king or whatever, is leading the alliance. Like if you're playing it during, say, BFA or whatever. So there's just weird dissonance, and I'm like, man, I really wish I could go through each of the franchises and play through it. Which is what I think is cool. Anniversary is going to give me the opportunity to kind of do that with a character. I like that. I don't know if I'll get there in time. I hope I will. I'm around level 31 on that, but I don't know. That was a tangent that I got sent down. But look, someone's out here killing hippogriffs. There's often a nice note of mithril right here, but okay, that egg is not back, so we'll continue on to the next nest. But anyhow, they funnel you through that. Then you go back to going back to our Sunken Temple, to our class quest discussion. So we go back to the Druid, and the Druid, the guy, the hunter, whatever he is, he basically says, "Okay, good job getting this from essentially a boss fungal giant." Or a fungal monster, whatever. Thanks for getting this. I will use it to make a stronger poison. But when you we just got egg 2. When you use it on the dinosaur the first time, he chases you, and some people, most likely, died from that. So he's basically like, yeah, it is dangerous. I'm not going to make you go through that again. You got me the materials. Thanks. Here's a piece of gear. That's a Druid questline in a nutshell. There are all of the only other quest lines that happen for all classes happen at level 60. They all begin with something called an earnest proposition, and it sets you up with, I don't remember which dungeon, but getting legendary gear. I want to say maybe it opens you up into Zul Grub, but there's the Paragon's Paragons of Power questline, and then there's a second one, a longer set that I'm not sure. I don't remember if it goes to Nax. I haven't really experimented with those yet because we're not there. Not even on my pilot runs. I'm not there with any of my characters. Yeah, on Anniversary, like I said, I'm about level 31. This weekend I'll probably run Shadowfang Keep. I haven't done that yet. I have a few Shadowfang Keep quests. I did run Black Fathom Deeps already. And yeah, it's just been, I'm fine. I had the Harvester grind that I told you about on a previous episode. All right, so I kind of like the idea of lurking on the subreddit. So maybe let's take an aside to talk about some subreddit topics. I'll find one. We'll go through some of the things they're talking about today on the various Warcraft feeds. Then we'll find one that seems ripe for at least a few minute discussion. So let's look at this. All right. So, of course, like I said, there's ew, gross. I don't know what some of these ads. I've been getting subreddit, like sometimes they pick ones for you, and then if you click it one time, that algorithm will now throw it on your feed. Like there's a subreddit for license plates. And now I get them constantly. Constantly. I don't care. There's another one that I find, it's like, it's bad as like, I don't know. There's just, there's, I gotta stop clicking because my algorithm is getting, obnoxious. And it's taking away the things that I like to look at all the time. But let's look at... Let's look at the... Oh my gosh, come on. It's all... There we go. Warcraft lore. Okay, it says, undead missions in WoW don't make sense. Alright, so let's look at what this person says, and we'll discuss about it. This seems benign enough. We're going to go around Camp Mojache to the north. Every time I do missions for the undead as a horde, I feel like they don't make sense from a horde point of view. It's always, go to this farm, exterminate everyone and bring me their heads, collect human parts so we can make another plague, kill everyone in this family because they offended me when I was alive, etc. In Hillsbrad, you do a whole genocide. Does this make sense to anyone? Am I missing someone? Why would a Tauren put up with this? And the first answer, we'll just look at the first answer and we'll use that to springboard a discussion. You come across the Frostwolf clan in Hillsbrad who will refuse to aid the Forsaken in their conflict with Hillsbrad, so that does kind of answer your questions. So that's like if you're doing the PvP stuff. Got it. The Horde in general are very much on the offensive in Cataclysm. Garrosh, there you go. Garrosh Hellscream. That answers the question from before. To expand their territories and eliminate the Alliance wherever they are. And that's true. And that's it. So, I think this is an interesting dissonance, right? So, there is an absolute lore-based juxtaposition of how to shoehorn. Because first of all, we gotta admit the Forsaken are cool. It is a cool race. It is a cool concept for the destructive, for the nihilistic, for the whatever the vicarious evil that you might want to be. If we indulge in a little bit of that with fantasy play, we don't have to do it in real life, you know. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with playing an amoral type of character. And you have to remember, what are the Horde? What are the Forsaken? Well, the Forsaken are, more than anything else, they are driven by revenge against, number one, Arthas, the Lich King. And number two, they have a lot of issues with the Alliance, particularly the humans of the Nation of Stormwind, okay? They have these issues because, yeah, if you look, you can sell these for 2 silver, these eggs. That's the cheat here. If we wanted to, we could stack them in the buyback category and then just get a bunch, and then you go.
I'd like to fly to.
Which if we get stuck on an episode like this, we are going to do that on Horde. I might even just do it anyway. Just do runs on the Horde where I at least do like whatever 4 packs or something like that, because I can't go through this again. We might do 4-pack runs on and just bust it out. It's a little bit longer, but really because what you'll do. Okay, but before I talk about that, all right. So it's very, first of all, from a practical, it's very much a case of the enemy of my enemy is my friend kind of thing. The Horde also needed to have Arthas go down. He was not doing any favors to anyone. And the Horde also hates the Alliance. So hey, you guys both were shunned by the Alliance, and you can really dig into that in some of the books we read. And you are former Alliance, right? And you have a lot of issues with living in the Eastern Kingdoms. And the Alliance really just wants to kill you. So it's still, when this person is asking about the Tauren, why would the Tauren put up with that? That is a huge thing. Okay, I can see the orcs and the trolls being like, you know what? My enemy is a friend. The Forsaken are essentially a weapon. We can use them. It's a little bit hard getting Thrall on board with that, but ultimately he's a politician, and he's going to make these kind of moral compromises sometimes. But yeah, the Tauren, that's crazy. And yet, when you look at the capitals, it is the Tauren capital city that has a base for the Forsaken in those little pools of whatever they are called, pools of wisdom or pools of vision or whatever. When you read the books of how the Forsaken joined the Horde, perhaps it's in Sylvanas, the Sylvanas novel. I can't remember where we read it the most. It might be a little earlier. It might be in both. But there is a concerted effort to explain this in the lore, because they knew it was so it created such a cognitive dissonance with the player, or it had the potential to do that for anyone that really thought it through. How could the Tauren, who are into Earth Mother and life, be okay with the abomination that is an undead, that is a whole race of people that refuse to go into the natural cycle of things? And they really leaned into the fact that the Tauren are the most accepting. And I can't remember the exact logic that they use, but the Tauren are the most accepting of all, and feel, and really they leaned into the idea that if anyone was going to accept the undead and give them an opportunity to have a life and have a no judgment, it would be the Tauren. Please, 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 extraordinary. Gosh, it was ordinary. Come on.
Interesting. So you have found an ordinary egg, adventurer. Please give it to me. And we can only hope for the best. I don't have much, but please accept this reward. If you ever find yourself in Feralis again, know that I am always here to take the eggs you find there.
Okay, back we go.
Where would you like to fly to?
So I would say that exact question is talked about by the writers. It was addressed. They paid people to address it, and that's basically what it comes down to. It comes down to a combination of those two things: the Forsaken, and there's a little bit of other stuff sprinkled in, but mainly the Forsaken are willing to fight the same enemies. The Tauren are accepting as a people, and they want to give the Forsaken the opportunity. And then there's the added element of the extreme duplicity of the Forsaken. They are shady as heck. They keep as much of this as possible from the Horde. And you have to remember, we are not just some Horde agent. We're an individual hero, and it is up to us whether or not we want to participate in these quests. If we choose to help the Horde murder and commit genocide and create plagues, that means we are complicit in it. And our character has done some shady stuff. As a completionist, we do some shady stuff. Your character might in fact be Forsaken. So they're definitely messed up, and their ultimate end goal is essentially on almost Twilight Hammer style of destroy all life on Earth, infect everybody, create as much Forsaken people as possible, and they really don't care who goes down with it, and they will lie, and they are amoral because they have a extreme disconnect from their emotions, and they talk about that throughout the game too. Like they literally can't feel or feel nearly as strongly many of the same emotions. So they're dead. The concept of empathy, just sadness, joy, love, that's dead in them, and that's so they're just existing despite that. So I don't really have to answer that question more, but I feel like if you're a deep lore master, you kind of already know the answer to it. And I don't know, I am curious to see how this continues to manifest in some of the later day. I didn't really get into a lot of the lore leading up to Shadowlands, leading up to Dragonflight. I just played the games, knowing that I was going to have this project on the back burner. So when they destroyed the world tree, when they burned it down, just these different areas, whatever's going on now, when Callie is the leader of the Horde, I guess, or the council that leads the Horde, Council of Lordaeron or whatever. All of these things, I don't know how this has continued to evolve, and I'm looking forward to experiencing it with you guys. All right, we'll go over the Hunter one again. Again, these I'm not reading because we've already gone over them. So the Hunter one, I have not experienced this set myself, but we've talked about it, and I will do it on Anniversary. So when I get to around level 50, I will do that on my own. It'll be cool. But essentially, somebody out in, I want to say Ajara, wants you to create this Hunter's Charm. So he tasks you with getting some different pieces, some Courser antlers. You're getting antlers from this guy, or from the deer in the area. Wave thrashing, you are getting pieces from the hydras in the area, and then to cap it all off, you want a piece of the green dragons that are in the Sunken Temple. And that makes you a Hunter's Charm, which you use. Now, the actual lore behind it, I don't think goes much deeper than that. And you're just basically doing a task that puts you in solidarity with the greater, higher level hunters in the game. And that is what it is. And I haven't experienced it, whether it's hard, annoying, whatever for myself. I don't think, other than having to do Sunken Temple, it shouldn't be that bad. And I look forward to doing it, and it'll happen probably in the next few months for me as I play that character. All right, and now we'll lurk a little bit more on the subreddit as we go for our third egg. I'm hoping with 4 different types of eggs, if we run all 4, maybe we'll get lucky today. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the Warcraft lore subreddit again and just see. All right, so this one is from someone named Lore Archivist. Did Blood Elves understand Fel magic when they started messing with it? So it says, did they understand its demon magic? So I'm guessing, I don't know if this is talking about the Blood Elves getting into becoming demon hunters. Their tie into that. The fact that they have the green eyes. And how that ties them into working with Illidan. I'm not sure. But it says, did they understand its demon magic and has many negative consequences from using it? Or did they forget about it? And the times they encountered it when the demons attacked Dalaran way back that required the Guardian of Tristol to be created. So we're talking about before history that we really cover a lot on this show. But we have covered that stuff in Chronicles when we think about the origin of the Blood Elves. But obviously by the time you get to Kael'thas, we have Fel infused. And our top answer is someone that says, I'm certain they had an idea of what they were messing with. It's part of the reason a portion of High Elves left, after all. But they were also incredibly desperate at the time as they were succumbing to their mana addiction and there was no alternative relief. So, I think there's one other really good lengthy response, and I want to look at it and we'll talk about it as we go through it. It's called Lovely Lotus Eater. That means that person is broke now because half of the Reddit conversations are about the price of flasks and Lotus. So, yes, they were aware of the Fel. There is more complexity to what you are asking. Okay, so first of all, let's just talk about that. Obviously, no one race, fictional or otherwise, can be assumed to be monolithic. And there are certainly high elf scholars. Because I think we should refer, at the time that they're making this pact, really, I think we really need to refrain from differentiating too much between the high elves and the blood elves. So I would say, absolutely, in the scholars, there is a knowledge of the Fel. These are a long-lived people that are only in really created based on their interactions with the Burning Legion and the things that cascade down from that series of events. So 100% they are aware of the Fel. Okay, let's read the person's next comments. Fel was not part of the original plan for the Elves of Azeroth. The intention was to use the mana forges to extract mana from the twisting nether to be able to sustain themselves. And they have a quote, actually, from Overseer Ceylana. So that, to me, because remember, the Blood Elves are one of the first OG inhabitants from our classic world that go to the Outland, what becomes the Outland, and they really have a base of operations set up in what is now the Twisting Nether, full of these mana forges, and Overseer Ceylana is part of that. She's one of the people that you have to deal with, and when we get to the Burning Crusade, we will read her Warcraft Wikipedia entry that is quoted right there. But essentially, you know, they're talking about how the Twisting Nether was exploded, but why did they have all these mana forges in the first place? Because remember, like the first top response posted, the High Elves left Kalimdor because it was the decision made by the Night Elf people that we would no longer embrace the arcane. However, the proximity to the well and the nature of the arcane-wielding High Elves made it so that you have a lot of people that are mana addicted. And you can see this in BFA with the Highborn that still suffer strongly from this mana addiction. This is now our third egg. That whole thing defines the elves. The people that are really into this arcane use, that are elves, they are addicted to it. They need it. They need that constant arcane, which is interesting that the humans don't suffer in the same way. And I guess it's because they're never tapping into the pure, unadulterated arcane. They're just getting it as it permeates the world. Which is that's all interesting in itself too. So you have ultimately them coming back to Kalimdor and establishing their capital and creating the Sunwell in their attempt to set up their own. Really, they still do that when a lot of this happens. This new Moonwell or whatever, this new Well of Eternity, this is happening as they live as High Elves because they still want that arcane access, and then that is whatever changed to the Sunwell. But when they're in the Outland dealing with their mana addiction is what this poster is saying, that they are trying to extract the mana from the Twisting Nether. So just kind of like we have dark matter or whatever everywhere in space, they're saying mana permeates that, and they are using these mana forges to pull it literally out of space. And obviously the consequences are terrible. This was stored in the form of mana cells you see scattered all around Tempest Keep. These mana cells are what was intended to be the primary source of sustenance for magic, even being used among Kael's army after Kael started collaborating with the Legion. So, yeah, that's that's it. So they have this production going on. Kael'thas starts collaborating with the Legion in Burning Crusade. The Blood Elves did not have their eyes turn green exclusively because of Fel use. It turned green because they were in the same area as Fel users, which affected them like radiation to pick up that green eye color. So they asked creative development. So that's from the roundtable, which we're going to cover that. We're going to go over the dev roundtable videos. There's some really good interviews that are coming up for us. So in asking the devs, why do the Blood Elves have green eyes? The devs' answer, I suppose, is saying, not because they're so tapped into the Fel. It's because they're just around the Fel and it affects them. That was the idea. That because they're stationed in the Outland and because they're around Fel users, it is influencing them in that way. Kael'thas and his army picked up that corruption as part of their service in fighting the Burning Legion as Illidari. And that corruption carried over when Ramath returned with his contingent from Outland. So that's just basically, they're basically saying it was like contagious. That they fought as the Illidari, with Illidan, in the Burning Legion, in Warcraft 3, and technically it's kind of still going on in Classic. And when they finally came back, they were already tainted in that way from being around the demonic. And then that just propagated and infected and was contagious. I don't love this idea. I think it was obviously a way to come up with an explanation for what they thought was a cool aesthetic when they made the Burning Legion, or the Burning Crusade expansion. They knew they were going to have the Blood Elves working with the demons. They gave them that green eye energy as a foreshadowing. And it looked cool. But it's kind of like, why do orcs still continue to have green skin? It's the exact same argument when they're no longer, these are the freed orcs. And yet they still are popping out orcs with green skin, even though they are no longer servants of the Fel. So it's the same exact thing. It's an aesthetic choice. They liked making the orcs green, even though the original Mag'har were brown. Later on, we come to find out. And you just kind of make it to where, it's just like contagious, and it gets in your DNA, I guess, and you use it forever. It's going to be part of your people forever because we like it. It looks cool.
Farewell.
Alright, going to the last fight. Okay, it says, the majority of elves were not aware that Fel corruption had become so widespread. This is something it says talking to Mickey Nielsen. I don't even know who that is. I'm guessing maybe some dev. Because, and I cannot stress this enough, sometimes things are just green. The burning crystals in Kael'thas' verdant spheres were just green because they were green. Green happens. Okay, so they're saying those burning crystals, Kael'thas' verdant spheres, have nothing to do with Fel. They're just green. Edited to add, because it's come up quite a bit in this thread, the in-canon umbrage the High Elves expressed was disgust at tapping mana from living creatures like vampires to sustain themselves, and that's why the Highborn are so kind of grossed out. That's a short story on Blizzard about Lor'themar Theron. Not from Burning Legion Fel specifically. Okay. The content related about mana tapping creatures to death was altered when mana tap was removed from the player kit. Oh yeah, because there did used to be that mana tap skill. So that was retconned. There you go. So the High Elves completely disconnect and disassociate from the Blood Elves, and maybe this is coming up more because maybe there are more. I literally have no idea what's going on in retail right now. I'm purposefully closing my mind to it so that I can experience it when I get there together with you guys. So I don't know about the High Elves. If they're back, is there a storyline as we're going back? And I know there's Earthen involved. Is there some High Elves being discussed? I don't know. Are they grossed out by the Blood Elves? Is that where this is coming from? Or is this just the general High Elves didn't like the Blood Elves for the whole time Warcraft has existed, World of Warcraft? And they're saying they used to do that mana tap, and that's what grossed. That's why there was this thing, and then they had to come up with a new reason when mana tap was retconned away, and they're saying, oh, it's because of the Fel. Most Blood Elves at the time of Burning Crusade's beginning were unaware of Kael collaborating with Illidan, and many would have been horrified to learn of it. Is that true? Is that true? It's that most Blood Elves, and are we differentiating between Blood Elves and High Elves enough? Because it's my understanding that the Blood Elf contingent specifically were created to go work with Illidan. And in Warcraft 3, eventually they stop working with him and I don't know. We have to really get in. Please, 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 please. Yes! We did it! Wow! Oh gosh, finally. Thank the Lord. Alright, so.
Off and away.
She says, I've seen a very few eggs retrieved from Feralus in extraordinary condition. These are eggs of the rarest sort.
Well, now, you have one amazing.
Thank
I hope you always remember
goodness.
the good you have done today.
I'll never freaking forget it. I'll tell you that much. Oh, we get a box of goodies. Typically it gives you a recipe. This is a 12 intellect cape. Not anywhere near what I want. 28. Armor's a little better, but I'm not. No. Oh gosh. Okay, we can wrap it up. Let's just do everything that we need to do. First of all, what's our time? I'm so happy that we. Gosh. All right. So, I think we can set up for Zul'Farrak, and we can go turn in the rescue quest. We can do that all at once, and then we'll worry about coming back here at the end. So let's pick up some other Zul'Farrak. I do want to get that set up just so that we're ready to go. Oh gosh, I'm so happy that we're done with this. Okay, so first of all, for Zul'Farrak, what we need Tran'rek. That is picked up in Stranglethorn Vale. We actually need that quest picked up now. So we have to go back we've got to go there first. So we're gonna. What else do we need? Let's plan this out. Okay. Scarab Shell's Troll Temper we can already get. Tabetha's Task is also going to be picked up in Stormwind while we're there. Right? Yep. Okay, we're going to pick that up there, and we're going to need to go to the swamp to pick up Tiara of the Deep. Prophecy of Mosharu we already have. Right? Yep. Divine Amatic Rod we can already get. Necrom's Medallion we need. We also need to go to Ironforge to pick up the Brassbolt Brothers. That's a pain. To pick up the Brassbolt Brothers. Alright, I'm hearthing while we talk about this. To pick up the Brassbolt Brothers quest, which will then allow us to go get Gazrilla. Okay, we don't need those two. The Ancient Egg happens after the fact. These are the ones that we will actually finish after the fact. The Ancient Egg, the Divination, Return to the Hinterlands, saving Sharp Beak. That comes after Necrom's Medallion. The Ancient Egg comes after, I believe, the Prophecy of Mosharu. So these ones we finish after the fact. All right, so we have a few things we need to do. Firstly, and most importantly, I just want to double check to make sure we have our 52 powers. I'm pretty sure we do, and I'm so happy. So happy, guys. You have no idea what a weight off my chest that is. That means tomorrow we can start doing Tanaris on Horde. That is so great. So great. I just cannot stress enough how stinking over the moon I am. Ah. We're going to check this out, and then we're going to take a tram into Ironforge, and then we're going to take a tram back to pick up the other couple quests that we have here. I just want to set this all up. That show-in point, that is our quest. Why am I here? Oh, yeah, I want to talk to Paladin Trainer. How's our first day doing, by the way? Oh, we were great. We just need... Fluff, Mage Weave, whatever. I'm pretty sure I did train, yeah. We'll need to upgrade Consecration when we hit, I believe, the next level up. But that'll probably wait till 54 before we upgrade it. Alright, so we're going to go take the tram to Ironforge to get the Brassbolt Brothers. I don't really think we need anything in terms of... We can, I guess. We can look at the... We can build up our... We can use a forge in the middle and make some mithril spurs. I'm going to start keeping those in our bank, and that way if people want them, or they start asking for mithril spurs, I can offer to sell them. That's really good. So hopefully that will generate some income for us. I don't know what the going rate is for creating mithril spurs and or applying mithril spurs to people. So I'm just happy. I'm just happy we have it, guys. We can make 21 of them based on what I think we maybe have mats to make 5 or so. Between all the mithril. We just need to make some mithril bars. But we're coming, the main purpose of us coming here is for to pick up the Brassbolt Brothers quest. Oh my gosh, that's just gorgeous that we finished this. Gorgeous. Yeah, and that means we'll be set up to do Zul'Farrak, and we're going to start. So I am so happy. Oh my gosh. Alright, so that... And like I said, the runs will be a little bit easier, and first of all, we might get much better luck, considering that took us around 22-ish runs to get all of the ones we need. It is not worth it. As you saw, we did it all to get a freaking green cape. You can get better stuff, but I think some uncommon item is your best bet. Alright, we're waiting for this tram to come on the left. It should come any second. And then I'll go update the spreadsheet with that quest. And then we're just about done. Oh, gosh. Lordy, lordy, lordy. Yeah, we really talked. We had some good subreddit. We still have time. We can talk a little bit more about some of the other stuff, too. Let's go to the spreadsheet. Okay, so... We have now finished an extraordinary egg. And we're basically done. Picked it up and dropped it off. There's only one quest left, so I can do that, which is going to be turning in. I might as well put it on right now. Rescue the OOX is our last quest. And I think we've completed everything. So we did Waste Wander, all of that stuff. We don't do that. We did all the pirate stuff. There's some... grinding with that. We did the Noxious Lair, Eggomatic, Scrimshank, all of this analysis. We did just now finishing the eggs. Gazridian, which is that one-off quest in the desert. We did the Sprinkles quest all the way up to Noggenfogger. We did the Dune Mall compound, but we did the Tuga, Thistle Shrub Valley in there. We did the couple Bungle in the Jungle, Super Sticky, and all of these Pawn Captures Queen that really take you to Ungoro. And we completed all the extraordinary. Now, there are some level 60 ones in the Gates of Ahn'Qiraj. That's why I have that there. We will be questing in Tanaris again, but it is not anything at all that we can work on right now. It's like nearly the most endgame type of stuff, because you can actually go through the quest line still needed to open the Gates of Ahn'Qiraj. It is insane. It's insane, and we'll probably still end up doing it. Because we're going to do everything. I think it's a little easier now.
Brothers, they're over in the Shimmering Flats in Kalimdor, racing their rocket car against the goblins. They usually win, which is no surprise. The goblin car blows up so much it barely ever crosses the finish line. But even then, the Brassbolt Brothers are always looking for new ways to make their car go faster. And Wizzle told me he needs a very rare component for his next experiment. He probably needs help getting that.
Alright, so this is a breadcrumb that you don't need to complete. If you go pick up the Gazrilla quest without it, you nothing happens. Like, you can just pick it up, and the Horde don't even get a breadcrumb. So it's interesting that the Alliance get one, and whatever, it is what it is. We're gonna go ahead and smelt everything that we have right now. Once I'm done, okay, so let's take a peek here. So we just did the Brassbolt Brothers. Opened up that quest. That is a Zul'Farrak quest. We picked it up. Cool. But yeah, it's an unnecessary, just like Tran'rek, it's an unnecessary breadcrumb, but if, as completionists, you want to make sure that you get it up. You know, that you complete it early. Alright, so, and yeah, that's it. That's it for that. So we're going to work on this for a minute, just to get going. After this, we're going to tram back to Stormwind, and we're going to pick up a couple other quests. We're going to pick up Tabetha's Task. Really, I think that's the only one we need. Tabetha's over in Dustwallow, I believe. So we are going to have to go there, which is a little annoying. I'm trying to think about how I want to do this, because we're going to need to both go to Dustwallow, and actually this is a closer flight path to that. And we need to go from there. I guess we could go down to Ratchet. That's not that far of a flight. And then we could take the boat over to Ratchet, turn this stuff in, and then boat back and go back to Tanaris. So we have a little bit of back and forth we're going to need to do here to travel around the world and set up Zul'Farrak. But I think we're okay on time. I think we can finish all of it in around 30 minutes or so, and we've already started it, so that'll still bring us in a nice solid episode amount of time, and we'll be ready to go on this character. So this is something that we'll need to think about as we're doing the quests in Orgrimmar, or for our Horde character starting tomorrow. We just want to make sure that we're already working on, maybe throughout, just working on picking up the Zul'Farrak quest lines. That's something to think about and do, to save us time at the end. Alright, I think now we want to come and make as many... we can make 5 mithril spurs, so we're going to do that. That's cool. That'll raise us 5 points. And then we'll talk to these... The reason why I'm doing this here is I just want to see, is there anything worthwhile? And these we're going to stash, and we'll just keep using them on ourselves to apply to boots. And if people offer good money, I will... I mean, I guess we can look on the auction house too and see how much they sell for. That might actually be something that sells. I'm thinking you could probably get a few gold for them. Okay. I guess, yeah, there's not really like a... we can look at JP Worgen, because this is more... probably something a little... Yeah, see, for instance, this showed on... Whoa, what are these? Comparison, we want Pagel Alliance. Lowest buyout is 44 copper. See, that's... 44 silver. 54 silver... Daily buyout, 18 silver. So you multiply 18, that's about 3.5 gold. Last update 5 months ago. Weird. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just because I haven't looked it up in time. But we'll go for... See, this is why I can't trust this. It's not really great. This is 35 gold on Pagel Alliance. 2 more to go on this, by the way. Total quantity 23. Lowest buyout that you've seen is around 3 gold. Median 3. Mancrick is around 6. Those are Horde. Yesterday, that's 5 months ago, so that's what's weird. I don't know what they really are. We'd have to actually look. I can't trust this website. I don't know the difference. Like region medium. See, it says yesterday, but last update is 5 months ago, which I don't know. I don't know what the story is there. Last 24 hours, it says right here. But this makes more sense. So realistically, you're looking probably at around just a few gold. Now the mithril spurs are already yellow. That makes me sad. But we got 5 points out of it. So, and more importantly than the 5 points that we got the ability to actually, like, oh, they don't stack. Look at this guy. Oh, he must be working on, like, whatchamacallit, like macros or whatever. I kind of want to go to the bank. You know what? I can go to a bank when I'm in. Okay, it says we're a little faster now. I don't know. Alright, we're gonna go now to Menethil, because this is a quick flight over there, and then I can go from here to Dustswallow. So this will create a slightly condensed loop. We do need to put, now that I have 4 mithril spurs, we need to put these in the bank. I guess I'll start creating a second moonberry stack. Those are fine. Yeah, oops. But this is all stuff that it's like, okay, these can all go. Do I want these pumpkins? I guess. All of this stuff is either selling or going to the bank. Let's look at Breath of the Wind, and will I need that? Oops, I spelled wrong. Okay, what is this? A reagent for? It's used in blacksmithing. A phantom blade? Or a true silver champion? I mean, they're both pretty cool, actually. This is a main hand. Decreases the chance to decrease the armor and make him not be able to stealth or turn invisible. So that's PvP. Where the true silver champion is a two-hander that protects you with a shield. So neither one of these would I want for myself. But bottom line is it's worth keeping in the bank, I guess. Plus, who knows what they sell for. Oh, goodness. All right, so now we need to take the boat across. And we will then be in dust. Oh, gosh. I forgot to go. You've got to be kidding me. I need Tabetha's task. You can pick it up. Oh, what a waste. I'm an idiot. Sorry, we got to go back to Ironforge because we have to pick the quest up. The Tabetha's task breadcrumb quest. So that was dumb of me. All right, while we're doing this back and forth, and I'm being an idiot here, let's look at our. That was a short flight, though. That was only like a 2-minute flight, so I am adding like 5 minutes on to our episode. I'm sorry. All right, let's look at the next quest for class quest. All right, so these ones, Mage, I have done this one also. And it is what it is, but we can look it up online. So this is called Mage Craft, and it leads to Magic Dust, the Siren's Coral, and then destroying Morphaz. So we're going to go ahead and look up the Mage Craft Classic quest line. We'll talk about this as we go. All right, you know, this has changed. It was white for a while, and now it's back to black. I don't know what the story is there. All right, so you can pick this quest up from 5 different people from either Dink or Maginor, so basically in Stormwind or Ironforge, because there are no... I think there's only 2 races that can be a mage for the Alliance, but in Horde... Oh, it says you can pick it up in Thunderbluff, which is weird, but Darnassus is not playing that game. So, I mean, so Thunderbluff, even though there are no mages, I guess there is that small Forsaken contingent. So for Tabetha's Task, there's a few versions of this we can get to. We're going to get the Bink version. We can look this up also. Actually, let's do that. We'll actually look that up. But I'm pretty sure the messaging is the same for all. We will look up the Alliance versions, not the Horde versions. There should be another... I know that for a fact there's at least one more Alliance version. Alright, so let's get Tabetha's Task from this gnome right here.
Hi. Well met, adventurer. You want some advice? Befriend a mage. We have a trick or 2 up our sleeves. We do.
Rumor is that Tabetha, a mage colleague
Whoa.
who lives deep in Dustwallow Marsh, has a bone to pick with a certain sand troll in Zul'Farrak. If you speak with Tabetha, she can tell you more. And bring some friends with you, adventurer. If Tabetha has you go to Zul'Farrak, then you're not going to want to go alone. You will find Tabetha's cottage west of Theramore and just north of the Stone Mall ruin.
They call it Zul'Farrak as a computer. I just don't like the way that sounds. I could, again, be 100% wrong. It might be Zul'Farrak, but I have a feeling the computer is wrong here. I have, by and large, been right with my pronunciations. I was notoriously wrong about the Defias, but I'm getting better there.
The Wildhammer dwarves might have fast steeds.
That one I was proven. I mean, like, Blizzard straight up has a video with it in there. So, all right. So let's go ahead and look up Tabetha's Task actually first, and we'll just look at that quest. It's pretty much the same thing, I believe, either way. If you look it up, there's only 2. The completion for this one from Orgrimmar. Oh, we're not looking at that one. We want to look up this version. We want to look up. There should be like a related quests tab somewhere. It says it's given by all mage trainers. I think if we look up Tabetha's Task, if you look up the completion just says, that's right, I do have a bone to pick with you. And if you look up, yeah, it just doesn't show. There is like a way to have this. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, view all search results on this one. So it's only showing one quest. So whatever. They don't have it calculated, so that means everything about it must essentially be the same except where it starts. So, that's for Magecraft, but either way. So, for Tabetha's Task, it doesn't really matter where you get it. Basically, the starting text is there is a rumor. She's a mage. She lives out there. She doesn't like this guy in Zul'Farrak. Go talk to her, and keep in mind that this is going to be a higher level, or a group content quest. So don't expect to go run off and do this on your own. How much mount speed does this really give? I'm curious about that. It just says Mithril Spurs. It doesn't say what they do. But I wish you could like put them. Oh yeah, just in time. All right. So when we look at the Magecraft quest, you can pick the same deal here. You can pick this up from Ironforge Stormwind, or from Thunderpluff, Undercity, or Orgrimmar. You can look at where it goes. You can get this from Maginor Dumas. You can get this from Archmage Shim, must be the Forsaken. You can get it from Pierce Shackleton. In Orgrimmar, you can get it from the Troll Uthilne, because orcs can't be mages. And then in Ajara is where you're going. So much like with the Hunter, you're ultimately going to Ajara. Okay, and the quest says, Archmage Xylem has been asking around lately for someone of your experience. If you wish to seek him out, you can find him in Ajara. His tower is built high atop the cliffs. It's up there. And the only way up is a teleport spell invoked by his arrogant servant, Sanath Yimlo, which is where you're going. So this quest has you going there. Sanath makes camp below his master's tower. To find him, travel to where Ajara's main road forks at the entrance to the ruins of Eldorath. From there, that spot, head directly north until you can reach the cliffs. Let's go to our quests also here. We just picked up Tabetha's task. So that is a quest that we can add on here. Just a pinch. Okay, that was picked up. This is, again, something you can obtain from all mages, most of the capitals. And we are going to run through the water and go to her swamp right there. And then we're going to have to come back, because we're going to need to fly from here up to Ratchet. So the quickest way is across the swamp or the bay, and then we're going to go there and go back, because then we are going to need to fly to Ratchet to make our other flight back over to Booty Bay. Okay, so we are now swimming across the bay. Alright, so as we swim across the bay here, let's keep looking at this. So when you get there, it says Sanath sneers at you. Archmage Xylem, which arriving. And that unlocked Magic Dust, which is the first real quest. Okay, so you have to collect 10 glittering dust. It says the Blood Elves in Ajara have developed a method for pulverizing the magical items they acquire. Yeah, disenchanting. This glittering dust they produce differs from the components normally acquired by a disenchantment spell. Oh, okay. Well, poop on me. Okay. When I sent my apprentice to trade for the dust, he was killed without hesitation. For that, they must pay. So there's basically like a little clutch of Blood Elf researchers kind of that are right there. And that's what this quest has you seeking out. The time for talk is over. Whoever. Mage. Find the Blood Elves along the cliffs of Ajara and use more persuasive methods to acquire their glittering dust. You just have to kill them. It's not hard. The drop rate's pretty good. And that's it. So after you do that, he says, have you the dust? Well done, mage. It never ceases to amaze me how persuasive a volley of arcane missiles can be. Who uses arcane missiles? Maybe in retail it's good? I don't know. I've never played an arcane mage. Alright. So the next in the series is called the Siren's Quarrel. This is found all throughout here. Okay, we should be able to get up on here with our horse now. See if we can make our way up over. Maybe not quite yet. Luckily, I can remember when this swamp was like a death run for us, and now it's just a nice, friendly jaunt. Don't know if we can get that high right there. Don't think so. A nice, friendly jaunt in the park. There we go. Alright, let's go find Tabetha here. Alright, so much like everything that we've done, when you do the Druid quest, you go to a spot, Ungoro, and then he sends you around to kill some things. And the second one is actually a little easier. He just has you go trank a devil sore. Whether or not you think that's easier, I do. Okay, well, with the hunter, they send you to go get something in Ajara, and then they send you to get a second thing. So this is more similar to that. As a mage, they send you to get something in Ajara, and then they send you to get a second thing. We'll talk about this one in a second, because we're about to go back across the bay as we talk to Tabetha here. And pick up the Tiara. The Deep Spell, this is a pretty easy one. You just have to kill a boss that is right near Gazrilla, so you are already going to be killing 2 bosses in the area. Okay.
Need help? Your errand must mean much, adventurer.
And we finally can get this out of all of our capitals.
That's right. I do have a bone to pick with a troll. A few bones. All her bones. Want to
I'll have all her bones I want to pick. Okay, so there we go. Top of this task is done, and we'll get the actual quest. Again, you don't need to do this breadcrumb.
The tiara of the deep. And not only was it pretty, it held great power for those with the knowledge to use it. So when word of the tiara reached the hydromancer Velratha, she had to have it. She sent agents to my home, and they stole it while I was away. The thieves. I want my tiara back. Go to Zul'Farrak, the troll city in Tanaris. Find Velratha and wrench the tiara from her. Return it to me, and you'll earn my favor.
Alright, so this is, I guess if you already happen to come out here, why not do this quest? So if you're a caster, if you're a warlock or a mage, it's common, but otherwise, this is a bit of a pain to come get. And the gear is, I mean, actually, those are some solid shoulders. 10 strength, 334 plate, 10 strength, 9 stam. Oh, yeah. So it'll be a wash on the damage stats. But it'll go up on stam, and it will double the armor. So that will be a solid upgrade for me. We'll be switching over finally to some plate shoulders. So that's good. So that is an actual true upgrade. Or that can give you a pretty solid caster staff. Alright, back we go now across the bay once more to go get on the flight path to go to Booty Bay. So let's also pick that quest up in the Zul'Farrak quest line. Tiara of the Deep. Awesome. So we're not necessarily going in order here. Alright, so let's look at the quest. We have Tran'rek, which we still need to pick up when we're in Booty Bay. And then, yeah, so we have the easier ones to pick up. We have that one. We have that one that we're going to pick up. We already have that. Yeah, so we're getting very close. When we're in Booty Bay turning in the chicken, we just also have to remember to pick up Tran'rek. That'll be super annoying if we don't. That's the only thing left in Stranglethorn Vale for us right now. Alright. Back to looking at our Siren's Quarrel. So he says, take a look around you. The ruins and beaches are overrun with Spite Lash. That's a Naga. Recently, the wretched creatures have learned to recognize the rare components indigenous to Ajara. Specifically, I speak of enchanted coral. They're drawn to it by reasons unknown to me. Now, there is little coral left in the bay, and it's vital to my research. I need you to separate some enchanted coral from the Spite Lash Sirens and bring it to me. So another kill drop. Again, I don't think it's that bad. It might be a little slightly more annoying. This was not bad, even me doing it like right at level 50. Ajara, it was fine. I was able to kill the mobs, didn't have to worry about it or overthink it or anything. So, none of this should be that bad. When you make progress, he says the Spite Lash are surprisingly adept mages. Not as adept as you, I hope, because we are doing the Magecraft questline.
Where would you like to fly to?
We need to go to Ratchet, right? Yeah, because we need to go from there to Booty Bay. All right, so on completion, he says, this is a superb specimen of coral, mage. Your skills are unquestionably precise and deadly. Do not think your efforts have gone unnoticed. Perhaps you are worthy of a true test of your skill. So all this is just helping the assistant of the mage. The assistant to the senpai. Retrieve an arcane shard from Morphaz, the same dragon you have to kill. I don't even remember. Oh, I don't know. Maybe that's the same one you kill as the hunter. So this is a complete parallel to the hunter line, just different flavor text and a different quest guy. Your There is a green drake deep in the sunken temple of Atal Hakar by the name of Morphaz. Years ago, he overwhelmed me in a bold ambush and consumed my apprentice whole. While the loss of an apprentice is not unknown to me, this particular one carried an arcane shard of unsurpassed size and quality. You must gather powerful allies and delve into the temple, destroy Morphaz, and recover the arcane shard from his ageless stomach. So he says, have you slain my old nemesis? And if so, incredible. The shard has grown as it absorbed the drake's energy over the long years. There's no more I can ask of you now. My full ability to forge the arcane has returned with this shard. My first creation is yours, hero, and you have but to choose. I also think, like I said, you can talk to that guy to go up to talk to the mage. I don't really know. Maybe when we do some Azora quests, we'll have to deal with him more. So you can get the Glacial Spike. It's a dagger that makes it to where when you crit, there is a chance your Frostbolts restore mana. 6% chance. So basically, every time you, if you think about it, because it's when cast, not when crit. It's a 4, the problem is that it's a 4 dagger, a 4 intellect weapon. That's nothing. And it's a dagger, so most likely you are losing some overall. I guess we're waiting on the boat. We can go to the bank while we're here.
Time is money, friend.
Let's put in this Gust of Wind, this Jade. Have all the citrine. I'll keep that for now still. I can put these mithril spurs in. Yeah, we're running out of materials is my problem here.
Keep it real.
Alright, we go to the edge and there are the boats here. Just wanted to clean it up a little bit. Still have to sell some of that stuff. Probably could clean up my actual bank some, get rid of like holiday stuff. I don't care. This person's name is Buns of Steel. I love it. Oh! That's a pain. I think I should still be okay. Since I was like literally getting around there right as the boat pulled up. That's annoying. I guess mind the gap, huh? Alright, so this will take us over to Booty Bay, which is good. And allow us to officially finish the zone. Alright, alternatively, you can have a neck that is a +6 intellect. Oh, yeah, so anyway, doing the mana, let's say whatever Frostbolt costs, I don't know, 100, 150, 160 mana if you're using the higher level Frostbolt. So 6% chance. So essentially, let's just call it 6%. So like 3 mana. It's basically like you're getting a 3 mana per cast discount if you think about it. So it makes your Frostbolts 3 mana cheaper. If you had something that's clear casting and you're proccing, it doesn't. The calculus is again not really that exact because you can proc clear casts and then get free, and then you're just restoring mana sometimes when you cast it. But it's overall still not that good. The Arcane Pendant you equip as a 6 intellect that makes it to where your magic spells and effects have 16 extra damage. And that is a good one. Where the Fire Ruby is a trinket, you use it and it will increase your fire spell damage. I don't remember, but I would imagine this Arcane Pendant is pretty good with damage on a necklace. Comments say you can't go wrong with the pendant. Yeah, the Fire Ruby is tedious if you're using other trinkets. You'll outgrow the Glacial Spike. And it's a neck piece. Yeah. Best pre-rated. So I'm imagining that's what I have on my mage, and that's what I use now. So a pretty nice necklace as far as the mages go. They said one of the best pre-raid, best in slot items, and makes sense. So there you go. All right, so without discussing those quests more, we've now covered 3 of the 9 classes on their Sunken Temple quest, so we've added 1 more on. As we travel from time to time, we'll get those going. We might get a little more today, but if we talk more, we have a little bit of traveling left today. So I think we'll have time to do one more subreddit, even though we're getting really close on time. We really are, but we might, because of my screw up that added about 5-ish minutes on. Oh, we can't do that in here. I might have screwed this up a little bit, but we're going to go turn in the rescue quest, and we're going to pick up the Tran'rek quest, and then we're getting back on the boat. Probably have to wait, and then we will fly down to Gadgetston, where we pick up the remaining quests, including the Brassbolt Brothers quest, turning that one in too, and that should get us where we need to go. All right, so we need both of these, so we'll probably miss the boat.
Well, if it isn't Adventurer, it's good to see you again. I cannot express my gratitude enough at the help that you've given me and my invention work to date. What can I do for you today? Oh, you're the great savior of UX17TN. I cannot even begin to express my thanks for your assistance. My homing robot series needs more developing, but your recovery has saved me countless hours of rebuilding time, as well as many gold pieces in rebinding costs. Please, take your choice of any of these items I have. Hopefully, you will make good use of one of them. Thank you again for your generous assistance. My robots and I are in your debt.
All right, so nothing was great. It was a shield, which we don't use shields. There we go. Here's Tran'rek.
My cousin Tran'rek is in a tight spot. He promised me a load of scarab shells weeks ago, and he hasn't delivered. He's my cousin, so I'd hate to have to send someone to Gadgetston to break something on him. Can you speak to Tran'rek for me? Let him know he needs to get that delivery together before I do something rash. Gadgetston is in northern Tanaris in Kalimdor.
Yeah, the boat's gone, but whatever. It'll be back soon. Okay, so a couple things here. We turned in the chicken egg. That's the 2 of the 3 chickens. The quest options were not great. There was like an egg timer or something, but it was an offhand agility weapon. I can't see anyone ever wanting that thing. The shield is not bad at all. It's a pretty solid shield that has 5 strength and increases your block chance another 2% in terms of and plus the block rating. So I would imagine that's a pretty solid. Speaking of solid, let's make up some stones. I'd imagine that's pretty solid. Actually, do I even want that? No. Oh, I should just sell that. I don't want to. But let's make heavy sharpening stones. Why not? Let's use that for a little while. Because they don't require anything else, and I don't really need the heavy stones for much else. And then I can have this to add on to my damage, an extra +4 damage. And then we also picked up the Tran'rek where he's just like, hey, I got a cousin. All right, we'll go with solid grinding stones here. Well, at some point I could probably start hitting up the solid sharpening stones too, but we're about to hit dense stone stuff up soon. All right. Let's move this around a pinch. I'm going to sell my other... All this is, I guess, for sale. Okay. Yeah, he just basically says, I have a cousin... he promised me some scarab shells. Go talk to him, let him know. And that's, if you pick up the scarab shell quest, then you will make it, you'll kill your ability to do Tran'rek on your own. So keep that in mind. Let's go ahead and mess with our spreadsheet a little bit here. So we did just pick up, first of all, we turned in the rescue. Oh, I already clicked that one actually. And then we also just picked up Tran'rek, which is the lowest level quest you could have. Great for us. Okay, we're getting very close. So we'll take one last foray into the subreddit conversation to get us through our episode today. And let's check it out. See what people talk about, if there's anything else. Humans and monkeys on Azeroth are completely unrelated to each other. I think this is interesting. Monkeys appear to be animals that just naturally evolved on the world. Humans were originally creations of the Titans that through the curse of flesh turned first into Vrykul and then into modern humans. There does not appear to be any connection between the two. I find this strangely upsetting. If you think about it, it says, in WoW we're evolving backwards. First Vrykul, then human, then monkey. They're calling it Benjamin's biggest button disease. And then this person says, there's going to be highly advanced gorilla men on Avaloran, is what I'm getting. I'm guessing Avaloran is something in retail that's going to be happening. The person says, playable race when. I like it. All right, so this is a funny, just little aside. I think it's, and then here, this says, I said that about the cat and Sneckmans, so I'm not getting my hope up in terms of, I guess, the people from like Uldum and BFA. The year is 2035. Metin announces the 5th WoW saga, the Banana Saga, where we discover that King Mukla from Jaguaro Island is in fact a Void Lord. And this is what the jailer tried to warn us about. He goes to Tel Abim to raise an army of Void Banana Men to take over the entire universe. We have to rally behind Hogger, who is the chosen champion of the light. The new class is Bananamancer. The new allied race is Bananamen. And the Emperor is the Monkey King, as we just watched those Pandaria episodes about the Monkey King. This is a funny, this is what I like. This is why I go to Reddit, for the real juicy, just intellectual conversation nugs like this. I do think it's funny though. This is where you just have to suspend belief at some point, and it's a freaking game. You have this cool story about how the races were created by the not paragons, whatever they're called, the original people that came, and the curse of flesh happens, and this is how, the earthen become dwarves, and yada yada yada, the humans become the Vrykul, all that stuff. It's cool. It's a cool storyline. But then you also have monkeys and gorillas in the game. And then you have to, and even the Hosen. And you have to then be like, oh yeah, there is no like evolution, or they don't really talk about it. Yeah. So I guess if it was me, my gut reaction to retcon it, not to be silly about it, would be like, okay, you could say that the Pantheon viewed the life races that were in existence, because you really have to get into like, where do the Tauren come from? Where do the trolls come from? We know that the elves evolved from the trolls. So where do the trolls come from? What are they based on physically? The orcs are not from this planet, so we don't have to worry about them from like a racial perspective. What about gnomes versus goblins? How does that work in terms of an evolutionary thing? Gnomes, we know, are also gnomes, dwarves. They're created there, but from the earthen, from mechagnomes, they look like, but where are they coming from is my question. Are we making... Okay, now we're going to Gadgetzan. This is our last flight we need to do on this episode. It gets a little fuzzy, a little hairy. So, trolls were basically the oldest, like, humanoid race. So they evolved. What did they evolve from? Then out of them evolved the night elves. Okay? The orcs came from another planet, and you can look at their own planetary backstory and determine how does that evolution look. You could... Okay, fine. The Forsaken are just dead humans. That explains itself. there are plenty of races, the gnolls, the furbolgs, so there are plenty of humanoid races that evolved from the animals and creatures of the time. So what could you make an argument about where the gnolls came from? The trolls, I mean. Did the trolls evolve further from one of these humanoid races? Are the trolls our true evolutionary middleman that came from humans? Whatever the case may be, you could make the argument that the humans, before being afflicted with the curse of flesh, were designed based on a basic structure that came from monkeys and apes. So you could make the connection that way. That's the only thing I think I could think of. I wonder if anyone answers it. Yeah. Jokes aside, Vrykul definitely call humans a devolution, but is that really the case? They're a lot smaller, but they don't seem meaningfully weaker or otherwise diminutive. I don't think they are smarter, but given they own most of the Eastern Kingdoms, they seem pretty successful. I mean, in the eyes of a gorilla, humans probably seem small and weak, but I would say they don't consider us a devolution. But yeah, then they say the Vrykul. So they're saying, like, primates are probably humanoid beasts, like yetis, like rock flayers in Draenor. Alright, so they just kind of... Oh, and then they also say Nerubians are also completely unrelated to spiders. Which is... that makes you think. Yeah, so if you really think about the concept, there's all kinds of... As art directors, they are getting their art from existing concepts on Earth. And then we're fitting a story around that. So, I get that. Whoa, what is going on? Whatever zone whatever is... I'm not even looking in the chat. Like, the chat's crazy. What you want you? A house or a car? 40 acres and a mule, a piano, a guitar. Is that... maybe that's a song? That's the... It's gonna be a spadoinkle day. Yeah, I don't see anything else really touching on this discussion, so that's just probably someone singing a song. Alright, so we're now going to pick up the few quests in Gadget Stand, and then the only thing that's going to be mildly time consuming is going up to the Brassbolt Brothers and back. And we don't even have to do the and back part. We can just chill. So we'll pick up these quests and go up, and then we'll log there, because I'm going to have to recruit a group for Zul'Farrak anyway when I come back, so we can save a few minutes on that, especially since we are just a pinch over, a little long for one of our eps. Alright, so first let's pick up Troll Temper, because why not?
Greetings. The Sand Fury Trolls of Zul'Farrak make a tempering agent from sandstones, and I can use that to temper the goods I craft. Yes, I can. It is highly prized by connoisseurs, so if you bring me a good supply of the temper, then I'll reward you well. Zul'Farrak is northwest of Gadgetson. Good luck.
Alright, so that's just it's actually probably the most annoying quest in the dungeon, because the drop rate is crap, and the good thing about it is that we'll be able to grind it out even at the end with or without people there. There's plenty of ways to do it. You just get a couple gold for doing it.
Sergeant Bly stole from me. He said he'd only borrow it, but he stole my cherished Divinomatic rod. Without that rod, how will I know where to dig new water holes? Find Bly and bring me my rod.
I heard he led his band of ill-reputed adventurers to go treasure hunting in Zul'Farrak to the west. I bet you'll find him there. Let's hope the trolls took care of him, because if you have to fight him for the rod, then you're in for a serious fight.
This is the best upgrade piece. It's a nice, strong, intelligent caster leather headpiece, and this ring, if you are a melee DPS, is very good. This will be an upgrade for us. 100% will be taking this ring. This is also the hardest quest, the Divinomatic Rod. It's the most difficult quest because it is a wave-based boss thing. People screw it up all the time. It's the only area in the dungeon where whatever. I guess it can happen in any dungeon, but it's the biggest area for like amateur hour crap to ruin the whole dungeon run.
Hello. Oh, you spoke to my cousin Tran'rek? How is he? I hope Booty Bay is treating him well. Scarab shells, you say? Well, let me tell you a story.
All right, so then we're like, hey man, your bro, or your cousin, he wants the scarab shells. What's the story? He's like, well, let me tell you a story.
The scarabs of Tanaris have very hard shells. Hard enough to use as a building material for lots of things. So many things. In fact, those shells are so useful. The scarabs were hunted all to near extinction. I know where there are more scarabs, and if you promise to bring me their shells, then I'll tell you where they are. Promise? Okay, the scarabs have a colony in Zul'Farrak. I guess the trolls don't hunt them for their shells, but you can go to Zul'Farrak and get me uncracked shells.
All right, so they drop off of scarabs. The scarabs in the dungeon are all throughout the Zul'Farrak dungeon. They are yellow, so they're neutral, non-hostile mobs. They are not elite. I don't think they're elite. I'm pretty sure they're not. They might be though, but either way, they're easy to kill. The problem is getting to them, although if you can get even just a little bit into the dungeon, there is a room full of them. The problem is, of course, if there's a bunch of... You only need 5, which is great, but the drop rate is not 100%. The reward is only 65 silver. This is just one little thing to do there. The problem is that, because they're not hostile, they're not necessary to kill, elite or not, you'll have them get skipped most of the time in the dungeon. And that's... You'll have to usually... This is one of those things you probably will have to go at the end. Go back and do on your own. It's whatever. It's fine. Another one of those things where we can handle it on our own if we have to. Like Troll Temper, Scarab Shells, those two, we could complete those on our own. Alright, so here is the Brassbolt Brothers. Here they are, Fizzle and Whizzle.
Can I help you?
Careful where you put that foot of yours, mister. We're not all blessed with the lofty height of a human.
Ah! You want to help me? Great! There's a part I want for an experiment I'm working on, and I need a brave adventurer like you to help me get it.
Alright, the Brassbolt Brothers. This is an actual completion quest we've done for Alliance. We can actually check this box. It's going to give us the Gazrilla quest, which is very interesting. And we are already ready to summon Gazrilla, but let's come look it up.
Deep in Zul'Farrak, the Sand Troll City in Tanaris, there is a sacred pool. From that pool, the trolls summon a huge beast, Gazrilla. He's so fierce that even his scales crackle with energy. It's that energy I want to harness for my car. Bring me the electrified scale of Gazrilla. But the summoning of Gazrilla is a well-kept secret of the trolls. To face him, you must first wrest the secret from them.
So we will deal with that after the fact. When you kill the trolls, I recommend, if you're not doing this, if you don't already follow the steps on how to get the Mallet of Zul'Farrak, what I recommend is that you go into the instance and kill the trolls out in front to do this really the way it was designed. I would not run the entire dungeon first, but you could start collecting Troll Temper. Eventually, one of them will drop a tablet. We should probably get one during our run. If not, we'll read about it after the fact. That will explain the process of how to get the charged Mallet of Zul'Farrak in which to summon him. It's a convoluted quest. It's the most difficult quest in the dungeon in terms of level. It's not harder than the Divinomatic Rod. He is not that bad of a boss. He does have one gimmick we can talk about during the time, this pop-up gimmick. The reason why he is so important is because he will give you the carrot on a stick trinket, which is useful particularly in PvP. You wear it and it gives you, or long distance mount running, gives you a 3% mount speed. I don't really care about it that much, but if you're doing PvP, it's very important. More importantly, it's a perfect smoke show for us because people will often ask you, hey, why are you at level 52 doing Zul'Farrak? What are you, crazy? And then they'll be like, oh, they must be after the carrot on a stick. And it makes we can hide how crazy we are. So I like it for that. I don't have to argue or add to the conversation. When people are wondering why we're running that dungeon, we can simply let them think it's because we really want that carrot on a stick, guys. But really, we're just crazy. We don't care. All right, I'm selling the pumpkins too. Thank you everybody so much for watching and listening and tuning in. We did it. We completed this zone. We have not only another episode, but a whole nother zone in the pipe, 5x5. Thank goodness. Tomorrow we'll go again and start it again with Horde. I will see all of you next time. Have a great day, and peace the heckity heck out.